What if your own mother became your worst enemy? A night where electric wires tighten around people's necks, and behind the closed doors of an elevator, death is dancing. Today's story is about a book so cursed that even looking at it is considered a sin. Forget touching it. But when an innocent child opened it, whatever came out dragged the entire family straight into hell. Hold your breath, because today we're diving into a terrifying building where no one has ever made it out alive. The story begins at a deserted lake, where cold winds blow as if some demon is hunting for its next victim. Alex, Sarah, and Jax have come here for a vacation. But something is very wrong with Alex. She lies on the bed all day like a lifeless body, making strange, unsettling noises. Worried, her friend Sarah goes to check on her, but Alex doesn't respond. So Sarah sits beside her and starts reading a book. Suddenly, when Sarah looks up, her soul freezes. Alex is sitting upright, muttering like a madwoman. Let me in, the terrifying part? The exact same words Alex is saying are written in Sarah's book. Panicking, Sarah quickly shuts the book, but Alex doesn't stop. Suddenly, she collapses onto the floor. Sarah rushes to help her, but then Alex starts vomiting large amounts of water, her body convulsing as if she's drowning. As Sarah leans in to check her pulse, Alex suddenly grabs her throat at lightning speed and lifts her into the air with just one hand. Outside, near the lake, Jax is standing. Moments later, Sarah stumbles toward him, badly injured. Before Jax can even understand what's happening, Alex appears. But she's no longer Alex. She has turned into a bloodthirsty demon. Jax jumps into the water to save Sarah, but the demon tears him apart piece by piece. Alex's horrifying face rises above the water, and then she begins to float in the air. The game has begun. The story then shifts into a flashback to an old building in the city. A day earlier, a girl named April suddenly feels uneasy at work. She suspects she might be pregnant, and after taking a test, her fears turn out to be true. Distressed and desperate, she goes to her older sister Maggie for help. Maggie lives in an old, rundown building with her 3 children, Brad, Katie, and little Lily. Life is already difficult for her. When April arrives, she notices how badly damaged the building is. Soon she learns that the building is scheduled to be demolished within a month, and Maggie has nowhere else to go. Little Lily tells April that there's a creepy story famous about this building. They say it used to be a bank where a cashier hanged himself after getting caught stealing. And if you walk around with coins in your pocket, that ghost will hear the jingling sound and snatch all your money. April just laughs it off, saying ghosts aren't real. But suddenly, the atmosphere in the house turns heavy. April had brought a gift for her brother-in-law, but the moment everyone sees it, they go silent. Maggie sends the kids out to grab some pizza, and then tells April that she's divorced now. Her husband left them. As the 2 sisters start talking about their personal struggles, they have no idea the real horror is about to rise from beneath the ground. Maggie is still very upset with April. She tells her that 2.5 months ago, when she was in serious trouble, she called her twice, once when her boyfriend was leaving the house. Angry, Maggie says that when she needed her the most, April was nowhere to be found, and now that everything is over, she suddenly shows up. April quickly apologizes and explains that she was so busy touring with her music band that she never even checked her voicemail. Then April reveals her secret: she's pregnant without being married, and she doesn't know what to do. As the sisters grow emotional, Maggie's kids, Brad, Katie, and Lily, are just returning with pizza when suddenly, a massive earthquake shakes the entire building. In the chaos, they drop the pizza while trying to save themselves. When the shaking stops, a deep hole has opened up in the parking lot. Brad shines his flashlight inside and spots something down below. It looks like an old vault. Thinking it might be some kind of hidden treasure or a stash of money, he ignores his sister's warnings and climbs down into the dark hole. Down there, he finds old photographs, crosses, and a strange box, covered in crosses, as if something inside was being sealed away. When he opens one of the packets, a swarm of cockroaches bursts out. Brad shoots them away and discovers an ancient leather-bound book along with some old records. Believing they might be valuable antiques, he takes them and heads back upstairs. When Maggie and April see the book, something feels off. Katie reaches out to touch it, Just then, the book's sharp thorns sliced into his finger. A few drops of blood fell onto the book, and within seconds, it absorbed every single drop. The very next moment, the book opened on its own. Its pages were filled with horrifying methods of death and disturbing images of dark, demonic rituals. Katie felt a chill run down her spine. "Put it back," she said. "This doesn't feel right." But Brad's curiosity wouldn't die. He figured he'd return it the next day. But by then, it was already too late. Meanwhile, in a corner of the house, Brad started playing that old record. At the same time, little Lily was in the bathroom playing with water. Suddenly, she felt something grab her hand from beneath the surface. She thought it was probably Aunt April trying to scare her. But she had no idea the record her brother was playing was actually a chant meant to awaken something evil. As the record played, the voice of an old priest echoed through the room. He explained how he and his companions had discovered a strange, ancient book. This wasn't just any book. It was one of the 3 parts of the Book of the Dead. The priest's voice trembled as he revealed the truth. The cover of the book wasn't made from animal skin, it was made from human flesh. And everything written inside wasn't ink, it was human blood. The elders had warned him never to read it, but his curiosity consumed him. He secretly began translating it. As the recording continued, every word of the chant felt like a direct invitation, calling something evil into the world. At that same moment, Maggie went into the electrical room to fix something. Suddenly, she felt a whisper right next to her ear. Out of nowhere, an unseen force ripped the earrings from her ears. She screamed in pain and anger, "Stop it!" But there was no one there. And then, the real nightmare began. Exposed wires started slithering through the air like snakes, wrapping tightly around Maggie's neck. They lifted her off the ground, twisting her wrists and ankles so violently that her body bent like a broken doll. Suddenly, a loud crack of electricity echoed, and the entire building lost power. Darkness swallowed the house. April and the kids started getting worried. Where had Mom gone? Just then, a shadow appeared at the door. It was Maggie. She stood there in a strange, terrifying way. Her daughter Katie softly called out, "Mom?" But Maggie didn't respond. She silently turned and walked into the kitchen. There, she turned on the stove and started frying raw chicken like a maniac. She grabbed some eggs and cracked them straight into the pan, shields and all. She kept mumbling weird things to herself like, "Don't eggs come for free?" And then suddenly, she burst into loud, witch-like laughter. While laughing, her body suddenly started jerking violently. At this point, it was clear. She was no longer their mother. She had turned into something monstrous. The entire family was now trapped in the same house with that evil presence. Maggie's condition kept shifting. Sometimes she regained her senses, and other times, the darkness took over completely. For a brief moment, she begged her sister April, "Please, save my children." But the very next second, she went cold and lifeless again. Everyone panicked and decided to take her to the hospital, but luck wasn't on their side. The building's elevator had stopped working, and when they rushed toward the stairs, they found them completely destroyed due to an earthquake. They were all trapped on the upper floor of that old building, with no way out. Hearing the noise, some neighbors came to help. An elderly man tried calling the police, but the phone lines were dead. They attempted to open the fire exit, but that door was jammed too. Inside the house, little Lily sat beside her mom, trying to talk to her. Suddenly, her phone screen shattered, and horrifying sounds started coming from it, like someone was burning alive. April felt something behind her. She turned around and saw Maggie staring at her with a strange, hungry look. Maggie's body was burning hot. April and the kids thought she had a high fever, so they put her into a bathtub filled with water to cool her down. But the moment she touched the water, her body started convulsing violently, like she was being electrocuted. Now, the demon had completely taken over her. She began crawling on the walls and ceiling like a spider. Her strength had become terrifying. When she screamed, the sound alone made the water in the tub start boiling, and cracks appeared in the walls and glass windows. After all the screaming, she suddenly went silent and collapsed into the tub. The children were trembling in fear. Then slowly, she rose to the surface of the water. A horrifying smile spread across her face, enough to stop anyone's heart. Her son Brad, crying uncontrollably, kept calling out, "Mom, "Mom." But the demon said in a cold, chilling voice, "Your mom is in hell now." Then it began crawling toward them like some kind of animal. The evil presence stood in the middle of the room, staring at everyone as if deciding who to kill first. Suddenly, it lunged at April and Brad. April tried to stop it, but the demon was unbelievably strong. It lifted her like she weighed nothing and threw her across the room. Their eldest daughter, Katie, gathered her courage and tried to protect her mom. But the demon played a trick. It started pretending to be their mother again, crying and begging, "Please, save me." The moment Katie stepped closer, its true face was revealed. With a terrifying laugh, it said, "Now I can finally get rid of you blood-sucking kids." Then it attacked Katie so brutally, it bit off her tongue. Luckily, her brother Brad jumped in just in time to save her. Just then, a neighbor's voice echoed from the hallway. The demon got distracted and smashed through the door, rushing outside. Like a rabid dog, it began attacking people, biting anyone in its path. One poor neighbor tried to stop it, but the demon grabbed him and killed him mercilessly. That shadow had such dark power that anyone who came near it was instantly doomed. Risking her life, April pulled the kids inside, slammed the main door shut, and blocked it with chains and heavy furniture. Terrifying banging sounds echoed from outside, but after a while, everything went silent. When April peeked through the door hole, her soul froze. Outside looked like a graveyard. An old neighbor was firing his gun at the demon, but the bullets had no effect. In the blink of an eye, the demon killed him too. For now, the demon couldn't get inside the house, so April and the kids were safe, at least for the moment. April quickly opened a window and screamed into the darkness, "Help! Is anyone out there? Please help us." Outside, heavy rain was pouring down, drowning out April's screams so no one could hear her. Inside the house, the eldest daughter, Katie, noticed something horrifying. Her mom's face had started to look exactly like the creepy illustrations from that cursed book. She snapped at her brother Brad, and the two began arguing. April quickly stepped in to calm them down, because right now surviving was far more important than fighting. April and Brad moved to the other side, trying to understand the deadly book. Meanwhile, little Lily was left alone in the hall. Suddenly, she heard a soft, sweet voice coming from behind the door, the same lullaby her mom used to sing to her when she was little. Lily thought maybe her mom was okay again. At the same time, Katie's condition started getting worse. The wound on her face turned dark, and a strange black liquid began oozing from her nose and ears. It was a clear sign that the evil from the book had started spreading inside her too. Meanwhile, innocent little Lily climbed onto a chair and peeked through the keyhole. Her mom was standing with her back turned, gently coaxing her with sweet words. "Open the door, honey. We'll be a happy family again." Lily fell for it. The moment she unlocked the first latch, the demon revealed its true form and lunged at her. Just in time, April and Brad rushed in, pulled Lily back inside, and locked the door again. But there was no time to relax. When April turned around, she saw her niece Katie facing the wall, moving in a disturbingly unnatural way. When April asked what she was looking at, Katie slowly turned around, chewing something like a maniac. Her face had completely changed. She looked terrifying. Crawling like an animal, Katie lunged toward April. April tried to kick her away, but it had no effect. Grabbing a large pot nearby, April smashed it over Katie's head, knocking her out for a moment. But as soon as Brad arrived, Katie got back up and started chasing them all over the house. Things had gotten so bad that April realized only God could save them now. She thought maybe the old recordings might hold some clues to surviving this nightmare. Even though it was extremely dangerous, she had no other choice. April turned on an old generator and played the third, and final, recording. She told the kids to hide in one place, then went into the room alone to listen to it. There she heard the priest's trembling voice. The priest revealed that he himself had already fallen victim to the demon, and that this evil force was targeting everyone without discrimination. The most terrifying part was that the Book of Death couldn't be burned or torn apart. The only way to contain it was to lock it inside a vault. And yes, there was only one way to stop these demons: burn them alive. At that very moment, Katie, who had been tied up, suddenly came back to life and broke free from the ropes. She lunged at her younger sister Lily, but their brother Brad stepped in as a shield. A brutal fight broke out between them. Katie had completely turned into a monster now. She was leaping through the air, attacking wildly, and screaming like a maniac. Mocking Brad, she said, "I told you not to touch that book. Now face the consequences." Brad knew he had made a mistake, but now he had to save his sisters. When Katie launched a deadly attack on him, Brad showed courage. He grabbed a flammable spray nearby and, using the flame from the kitchen stove, blasted her with fire. Within seconds, Katie's body started burning like a barbecue. After a fierce struggle, he finally set that demonic presence ablaze. As the fire spread through the house, it seemed like everything was finally over. But outside, another demon, Maggie, slipped into the room through the ventilation pipe. April was listening to the priest through her headphones and didn't realize what was happening until she saw the witch in the mirror. Startled, she stepped back and grabbed a screwdriver. But what could a screwdriver possibly do against an immortal creature? Meanwhile, Brad and Katie were now fully under the demon's control. The three of them started laughing together and said, "Before sunrise, all of you will be dead." April and Lily ran toward the elevator to save their lives, but the elevator had turned into something like a pool of blood. Red liquid began seeping out from the buttons and beneath the floor. It felt like they were about to drown in it. And then, something truly horrifying happened. Maggie, Brad, and Katie's bones and bodies began to fuse together, twisting and merging into one, until all three of them became a massive, disgusting monster. But April didn't lose her nerve. She grabbed Lily in her arms and slid down the elevator shaft using a thick rope, heading toward the parking level. Somehow they made it down, but that gigantic creature was crawling after them through the pipes. In the parking area, April found her sister's car keys. They tried to escape, but the heavy iron shutter was jammed. April desperately struggled to force it open. While the monster crept closer and closer, it turned into a terrifying game of hide and seek between them. The moment the shutter opened just a little, April tried to push Lily outside. But suddenly, the monster grabbed Lily's leg and dragged her back inside the parking lot. The shutter slammed shut, leaving April outside. Seeing her niece in danger, April's fear turned into pure rage. She screamed and frantically searched for a way back in. She had made up her mind, no matter what it took, she wouldn't let that demon touch Lily. The battlefield was set. On one side stood the massive, three-headed monster, and on the other, April. April opened fire with her shotgun, blasting the creature repeatedly. It staggered for a moment, just enough for little Lily to hide under a car. At first, April had the upper hand, but then the monster hurled a heavy chain at her. She lost her balance, slipped, and her gun flew out of her hands. The creature with its many limbs crawled toward her like a spider, getting dangerously close. April tried to grab the chainsaw, but the monster caught her again and switched the machine on. Death was right in front of her. At the last second, Lily showed incredible courage. She rushed in and turned off the machine, saving April's life. Now the chainsaw was in April's hands, and the monster stood right in front of its blade. Lily was crying, but she still found the strength to press the button. Like a lioness, April lunged at the creature and shoved it straight into the machine. What followed was horrifying. Its body was torn apart, pieces flying everywhere. In the end, only the monster's head remained. The possessed mother, whispering sweetly, trying to manipulate April by calling her April baby. But April was beyond mercy. With one final strike, she erased the monster completely. With this, the story ends. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also subscribe to this channel for more stories like this.